What is up, Broncos country? My name is Kevin Dan. Welcome to another edition of Bourbon Broncos No BS. Guys, we got a ton of awesome content for you all. It's our second week of this season, our 8th year. It's going to be some awesome conversations, and more importantly, hearing what you all have to say. So make sure you're putting in all of your comments and questions into the comment box, and we'll talk about that. Also, something you're not going to want to miss at the end of the show today, John has something huge to tell y'all, and you are not going to want to miss it. So stand by for that, guys. That being said, get ready for a hell of a show. It's going to be fun. Go Broncos. Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Guys, we got a lot of awesome things to talk about. But first off, David, it's 7 p.m. Do you know where your Jared is?
Well, yeah, he's not on time. So.
I know where he isn't.
What?
Right.
I know where he is. Yeah, you know where he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see him anywhere here.
Things.
Exactly. Thank you, Spotty. It's the rest of us are on time. John, what's all this about a special at the end of the show?
First of all,
yeah,
Jared is in prime, like mid-season form. He is way ahead of us when it comes to this podcast. But Kevin, what am I announcing at the end of the show? Is there going to be?
I don't know, dude. You're just like, I cannot wait to tell people. So you have about 55.
That can be a theme. Is that the theme this year? Just put John on the spot at some point.
I mean, it worked really well last week. Really,
I crushed
well.
it. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that for sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to give you 58 minutes to come up with something. So
I don't like that.
Let's start talking. Spotty, I'm going to hand it to you first, man. We got Broncos games on the weekend, and it's awesome. What do you think, dude?
I'm loving it. I'm counting down all of these days. I'm looking back. I was talking to you guys earlier. I'm like, okay, how many days until September 10th? I'm actually excited after this last preseason game. It's weird. It's this thing where we had momentum and it kept building instead of us falling off a cliff. I don't know. Maybe it's a little too much excitement, but I'm actually going to be pumped for this year. So
I love it. John, what you think, man?
I mean, most excitedly, we are 2 preseason games down, which means we are over halfway through preseason. And like Spotty said, we are that much closer to week 1. I thought we made some good improvements, especially the first team unit. I mean, Russell Wilson was only in for 1 series, which makes me feel good about that they had enough confidence in him in that one drive to take him out of the game compared to last week. But yeah, we are getting closer and closer to that week 1 game against the Raiders.
We are 16 days away, fellas, not from our first game, but from the very first game of the season, that Thursday night opener, Kansas City versus Detroit. Our game is the following Sunday, so I guess we're still like 20 days away.
But close enough. 19, 20?
19. Yeah, 19. Yeah, like you said, math. But it's that, if it ends up being a bad season, this is the perfect time of year because we're at that like peak of optimism. Second preseason game went better than the first preseason game. It all feels like it's coming together now. We don't know if the starters are going to play in the third preseason game or not. I said last week that teams are treating it like the fourth preseason game. That's apparently not true. Apparently, some teams are playing their starters. I hear Aaron Rodgers is going to go out there for the Jets this weekend. Other teams are not. So I have no idea what Sean Payton is going to do with his starters this weekend. We'll find out there. But if he doesn't play them, we're like at the peak of optimism right now. And if we're at like week 5 and things are just terrible, we can always think back to this point and say, man, remember when things seemed like they were coming together there for a minute? That was nice.
That was nice. That was cool. No, is it 2024 yet? Yeah, let's not let that happen.
Yeah.
No.
To David's point, remember we have a whole week in between the third game and week one, so or a whole week before
It's basically a bye week.
So, I think a lot of teams will play a lot of starters in the third game because there's one less preseason game. I don't know what the Broncos' strategy is going to be. We know what it was last year. I don't think whatever that was is probably not going to be that this year.
Right? Yeah.
Don't play them.
Yeah. Kevin, what are your opening remarks?
Dude, I am happy to see that even though we didn't get a touchdown to open the game, I think it says a lot that Russell Wilson, like what you were saying, was out there for a drive and then he was done. I think that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a 13 play drive too?
Yeah, it was a good drive.
Yeah,
we got points. We got points.
Yeah, it wasn't a touchdown drive, but man, they stayed out.
Exactly.
They didn't go 3 and out.
Couple of penalties.
Yeah,
That's
right.
really
And overcame them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you look back to what happened to us a couple times last year was, the other team would get the ball first. They'd eat up 5 or 6 minutes of the clock in the first quarter. We'd go 3 and out, and then they'd eat up another 5 or 6 minutes. And then it's the end of the first quarter. We've had one possession for about 2 minutes.
Right.
Here we are. I was remarking during the game that, oh, wow, the first quarter is almost over. And it's been both teams. Both teams have had one really solid possession. That I can get behind. Okay, you're controlling the ball when your offense is out there. You're being smart with the ball, and it was really good to see. And that was even with that wasn't necessarily good football strategy. That was get Javonte the ball, 10 out of 12 plays so he can be done.
Right.
That's the game plan. Is just get Javonte his reps and get him off the field. And so we still looked really good. So that was my big thing was we saw improvement in a way that we hadn't seen this team really make in even just 1 week progression before.
Right. It's weird having an offense. I don't know, when your coach is calling the right plays and timeouts at the right time and new things. I don't know. It's
right.
Just weird.
A coach that has confidence in his offense, Spotty? Is that what you're talking about?
What?
A coach that has confidence in his offense? Is that what you're talking about? I don't understand.
Or having a system and an offense to be confident in. I don't know.
I'm nervous.
And to rehash an argument that nobody was making in the first place, trading a first round pick for Sean Payton. I know that there was some people who didn't like that decision when it happened. Yeah, and I didn't want to call you out, Spotty. I know you're on board now, but just having this peace of mind of knowing that he knows when to do the timeout and knows how to do the game management stuff correctly. After Fangio and then Hackett, 2 coaches in a row that just didn't do it ever.
By the way, David, 31 other teams are not worried about their coach calling the timeout at the right time.
Well, that's great.
That's a Broncos tradition now in the last.
That's
5
great.
years.
That's great for 31 other teams, John. But that's
great.
not the
But for
struggle.
us, it's been exactly.
That's not the struggle we've had. So
I'll make the argument though. I'm still not sold. The special teams coordinator for us last year figured it out the last 3 games. So apparently it's not super difficult, but
fair.
It's not super difficult to be average, to just be not shit. Yeah. Okay. It's not hard to be not crappy. Okay. And what we were before was really crappy. And all whatever his name was, the interim coach in the season had to do was make us just not suck. And all we did was play maybe average, right? And there were flashes that we hadn't seen all year, but we didn't play amazing. But all of us are like, yeah, this is the best thing ever. I remember leaving, was it the last game of the season where we beat the Chargers or something at home, if I remember that right? And people were losing their everlasting mind. Out in the parking lot, they're honking their horn. They're like, "We beat them!" Woo! And I'm like, "This is wow, okay, great." Hey, let's go into the off season, happy on something, I guess. But, yeah, man, you're right. It doesn't take a lot for I think a coach to make a team just decent and to bring out even just the moderate, skills of players and bring them together and stuff like that, right? But what I think is really interesting with Sean Payton is when you hear about how part of his practices are even just like scenarios that only come about once, maybe every 4 or 5 years. He is also running through a myriad number of coaching situations in his head all the time, right? So I just think it's cool to have someone that detailed and that forward thinking of just trying to be prepared for every situation in all phases of the game. And that's where Spotty, like, I see your concern, but I see what Sean Payton's doing and the type of coach he is now, like up close, not just from the Saints, right? And I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing, man. This guy's for real, So I don't know. I'm starting to believe it.
We'll revisit all of this week 5 because we're excited. 2 preseason games in.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Yeah. They played B- offensive football for a preseason game, and we're all. I mean, this is where we are, but this is how scarred we are.
Yeah.
This is how desperate we've been for B- offensive football for 2 years.
That's all we've been asking for.
It's just Yeah.
That was the request from Hackett. Like, you're an offensive coach. We have a quarterback now. All we want is average offensive play, and we couldn't get it. You guys get it. Point. Like, we just want it. So we're desperate. We'll spend the first round pick to get a coach that knows how to freaking coach the offense.
Besides, one.
It was like the 29th overall pick. What were you really going to do with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a second round pick at that point. Come on, Spotty. What are you going to do with that pick?
Come on.
Who are you getting at 29?
Come on. Who did you want at 29 that was better than Sean Payton this year?
Spotty, let me ask you this really quickly. When we're talking about like your concerns and stuff, are you concerned more for like the immediate this year or the long term? Are you saying like long term, I still don't know if this is the right coach for us? Or are you just saying like this year, like I don't think like this is the guy that can turn around for us like this year? I don't know. Like, where are you coming from?
I think the hard part is the expectation is immediately high for this year. If it was any other head coach, we consider that a crapshoot, right? Like, we're like, oh, Vance Joseph's coming in. Oh, Vic Fangio's coming in. They have to install their own team. They have to install they're not their players that come in all the time. You'd be like, you know what? I'm happy with 7-8, 7-9 kind of record. I'm happy with a 7 and those kind of. But because it was Sean Payton, and then we gave up capital to get him, we're immediately looking at this team to make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, that's a very, very good point. But
so sorry, go for it. I've talked over you already.
A year ago, we said we were a quarterback removed from the playoffs, from a deep run into the playoffs. We get Russell Wilson, and the whole Broncos community is like this is a Super Bowl contender team. And now, now we have Russell and Sean Payton. Now it's like, please just make the playoffs. Like, please just be competitive.
But that's the thing too. It's even if it doesn't go the way you want in the first year and you don't make the playoffs, I think at least you've got a coach in Sean Payton that doesn't affect really. Yeah. It's like, all right, the expectations were set by other people. I'm Sean effing Payton. Why do I care? Right. So at least we've got that going. Whereas with like a first year head coach like Hackett, I think that the expectations were definitely a part of the reason that all imploded last season.
Sure.
Sean, go for it. I'm looking something up, so go for it.
Then the question for you guys is, right? Say we have the exact same record that we did last year, this year. Are you freaking out more or less after last year?
I don't like that question. I don't like that question at all.
Hold on. This time last year, I wasn't freaking out.
Yeah,
I wasn't freaking
You're
out.
all excited this time last year.
Like, we're going to say the season's over. We had the same record under Hackett as we did Sean Payton, right? Do we have the same feeling about this team?
Gotcha.
Right? Like,
are we going to be calling for
out the door?
Right. No, you look at. This is where it's important. This is where it's important that somebody has a track record that Sean Payton does. And that's why I was trying to look up how many wins per season he has. I think it's like on average, he has like at least 10 wins a season.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's around 10.
I think he has 10 out of 13 seasons with the Saints were a winning season.
That sounds right. So this guy has a proven track record.
Well, and for
he
me,
has.
go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm just thinking, to me, it's if they did have the same record, I'm probably, unless it was apparent throughout the entire season that Sean Payton was just doing, as bad of a coaching job as Nathaniel Hackett with the poor relaying of the plays and all that. If the product looks as sloppy on the field, not just bad, but like sloppy on the field as it did last season, then yes. Otherwise, I think there's going to be a lot of latitude to say, well, it was Sean Payton's first year with Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson is done, but Sean Payton is not. So
I think
that's
a lot
where
of blame is going to Russell. If
it's
that's
going to
just
go to
on that.
again, unless it's just a really, really plainly atrociously atrocious coaching job, a lot of the blame is going to go to Russ on that one.
And you look at the coaching staff that Sean Payton's assembled, it's not going to be that. It is the complete opposite of last year when you look at experience.
We've never been overconfident at this point before, Kevin.
No, I'm just saying in terms of experience, right? Okay. One of the big things that they keep harping on and Peyton keeps harping on is how we were like 29th in the league in pre-snap penalties and how we are not going to be that again, right? The discipline is coming back to the building.
Oh,
right?
it's a
So that's where I'm
totally.
Oh, exactly. It's going to take some time, right? I think we saw that this last week. Like all of a sudden the wide receivers are like, we're going to just, pull a Garrett Bowles. We're all Garrett Bowles tonight is what they did. Channeled. They're in our number 72. And all of them are just like,
had a bounce back game. Garrett Bowles played really well, I thought. So
he fanned it out. It's like, you guys hold, I'll play well, right? But here's the thing. I guarantee you the rest of the season, I would put $50 down that you are not going to see another game where there are more than 2 wide receiver holding penalties.
That's not a big ask, Kevin.
Right. No, I mean, the number of games with 2 wide receiver holding penalties
I want to win
in and out of the season.
I want to win $50, okay?
Well, you should want more ambitious things than that, Kevin.
I think we had three wide
Broncos.
receivers. 3 wide receiver holding penalties, or 2 holdings, and 1 offensive pass interference.
It was,
I know Kendall Hinton had back-to-back plays with penalties.
Right,
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of drop passes. It was a rough game for Kendall Hinton. So
yeah, and Brandon Johnson came back to practice today.
Get that straight, John.
What's that?
Hall of Fame Hinton. Make sure to add that.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
I have all the respect for Kendall Hinton. He's a Hall of Fame Bronco. So
absolutely.
I'm just saying it was a rough game for him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about, because I think there was a really great comment here by where was it? Sean. Sean, about Cooper and Gregory feeding off each other in this pass rush. And so I don't know. Yeah, what did you think, guys? That pass rush to me looks really good. And the development of Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito this offseason, if both of those guys play in the regular season like they have been so far this preseason, it's going to be a really different story to last year.
Yeah. Well, it started out rough, that first drive for the defense. And then when they did start picking it up was in the end zone when you need it the most. So that for that first drive to end in a field goal, they got to the 2-yard line. It was like 1st and 2 from the 2-yard line. So
with chunk plays too, like
not that Deebo Samuel looked like a freaking stud for the 49ers on that first drive. So for them to come alive in the red zone and then to force a field goal, I mean, that was the best way that drive could finish with the way it was heading.
Right. Absolutely. And so you've got, at this point, you've got what? You've got Bonito, you've got Cooper, you've got Randy Gregory, you've got Frank Clark, you've got Baron Browning, ideally, when he comes back. And boy, and if those guys, if most of if even 5 of those or 4 of those guys play 17 games this season, you've got a really impressive pass rush.
Which is an area that we've all been concerned about. Like that's kind of everyone's kind of like, well, I don't know how good this pass rush is going to be. So,
right.
Yeah,
I said it to you guys, right? There's not the one guy on our team where you're going to be like, you know what? He's going to hit 12 to 15 sacks. He's going to hold the team for us. No. We look 5 guys that have 8 to 9 sacks for the season That's amazing. And that's not including what's going to come from the defensive tackles, because they're going to get in there every so often, right?
Yeah,
so
Zach Allen, for sure.
we don't have
DJ Jones.
your life triple teamer Von Miller coming off the edge, bending and twisting and terrifying a right tackle, left tackle. But you know what? When those tackles are getting tired in those second, third, going into the half or going into the end of the game, and we are just sending out a platoon of pass rushers, and we didn't even throw in the fact the linebackers are shooting those A gaps like crazy. Like we're not even seeing those blitzes right now, but it's going to be Alex Singleton who's his hair on fire up the middle,
and he's already looked great.
Right?
They were great.
And then, of course, they're going to drop the little hint. Hey, Drew Sanders has his own blitzing package. And I'm like, okay, guys, I was already hot and bothered already about this pass rush. And you're already going to throw in the fact that the secondary is going to cover its own. So, I'm stoked. We haven't seen what Barron can do. Jonathan Cooper was a, 6th round pick out of Ohio State. I don't even remember how we got Jonathan Cooper at this point.
No, we drafted him.
I know, and he was a 6th round pick. He's supposed to be an inside linebacker, and we're like, you know what? Let's give him a try on
7th round pick. He's even worse than you said, Spotty.
Jeez.
But he's been great since his rookie year. Like 100%, right?
He has
been. It feels like a committee approach. Like the only one that I feel like if he stays healthy could get those mid-teen sack is Randy Gregory, but or I don't know if Frank Clark just wants to do what he does normally in the postseason during the regular season. Sure,
right, exactly, yeah.
But it's a very good point. Like we are deep there. It's just a matter, and as long as we get the production, it doesn't matter if we have like these 1 or 2 huge sack guys. Who cares if we don't have that? If we have 5 guys that are getting close to 10 sacks.
It's what the Eagles did last year.
Yeah.
I think Hassan Riddick led the team in sacks at like 10 or 11, right?
Were the Eagles relevant last year?
I think they may have gone pretty far in the playoffs. I think
not far enough.
Pretty good.
No.
Not far enough.
1 game short. Just 1 game short. Hate to see it. Yeah, really hate to see it.
But staying along that offensive line, we were a little bit worried about the depth there too. I'm sorry, defensive line. But the way Matt Henningsen
we were changing gears. I was
having
flashbacks the last year.
Flash forwards
randomly.
Anyway. But yeah, Elijah Garcia and Matt Henningsen played really well, I thought. So yeah, I think the depth is there along that defensive line, at least for the start of the season. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. Hey Joey, I want to answer your comment here. If we're concerned about VJ's bend but don't break defense, first off, I'm never going to be upset about a bend but don't break. Okay, if you're going to give up nothing but field goals all game, we should win pretty much every single game, right? If you're going to let them drive down the field but stop them on the 2-yard line, like we saw, I'm not upset. Like it's not perfect, but I'm not upset at the same time. I don't know, my screen's freaking out, but
we have this
one thing you also have to remember is that during this you're just talking about it, we're not seeing those blitzes, right? Everyone is using very vanilla defensive packages, right? We're more evaluating things, and we're evaluating players and speeds or how they're reading situations. We're not giving away what Vance Joseph's actual defense is going to be and what actual plans he has in place, right? So, but at the end of the day, if this is kind of what VJ's defense does, is they get chunk plays until they get to the 30 or the 20-yard line, and then we just absolutely turn it into a brick wall and stop them. Okay, sure. Like field goals all day. How frustrating for a team is that to go down there to the red zone 4 or 5 times and get nothing but
it's demoralizing. Yeah,
12 to 15 points. So,
well, and look, this is a very good offensive 49ers team that we just played. Like, yes, it was a bad first drive for the starting defense. It's also preseason game 2, not the regular season. Let's hold judgment a little bit, And then the defense also got better as we went along. So let's not get too excited. Like this is bend don't break type philosophy. Like we will, and maybe that was the philosophy when he was here as the head coach. But when you're the defense coordinator versus head coach, there's a whole different set of responsibilities. So I think we should expect more from Vance Joseph on the defensive side than when he was here as a head coach.
And
So I like this whole
Simmons
week
hasn't
5
played.
thing. Yeah, exactly. That's
Justin
the other thing.
Simmons has not played. And, you know, you want to talk about it. You're like, what does a safety really do for a team? But that man is the defensive leader, and he's the defensive quarterback. And from what we've heard, he's the one who's in VJ's ear about what they should be doing to make this defense like last year's. And I believe that man's difference on the field, I mean, he's led us in interceptions for, 3 years straight?
Underrated in the league, I would say.
And guess who just came back to practice today, fellas?
Mr. Simmons himself.
Oh, well, yeah, but 5 players, actually. It was a really good day for that.
A lot
I was going to say that. I could say a lot of things.
A lot of players came back.
But Justin Simmons was one of them, so. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, really quickly.
It wasn't just Sean Hamilton, was it?
Deshaun Hamilton himself is back for the Broncos. No, that is not true. Hey, really quickly, about halfway through the show here, guys, while everyone's here, if you're watching this, I got a ton of people watching this over on YouTube. Sean, I see you. Joey, I see you. How you doing? Neil, I think I saw you. You're over watching us there. Scrolling across the bottom there is our YouTube channel. If you guys could please help us out. We're not asking for money. John is having to take remedial diaper changing classes, which is taking some money out of his pocket. If you want to help donate to us,
time too. It goes directly
that money,
whatever that fund would be.
It kept, apparently the mess was just everywhere. I don't know. So if you want to donate money, it'll go towards that. If you don't want to donate money, but you want to help us out, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're pushing out daily videos, whether it's this live stuff or shorts or whatever the case is, right? So, and once the season gets started and we can really start getting fired about some of these games, man, it's going to be fun. So make sure you're checking us out there.
Yeah.
Having fun.
Yeah. Don't forget about the halftime hash as well. That is the one other thing we're doing here during preseason, so you guys can check that out. We'll be live during halftime during this next week's game. And then we have a week off, before the regular season starts, but we'll still be live Tuesday. So you guys can count on us again to stay live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time through the rest of the season. And we are here mostly taking your comments and questions and talking about the things that you want to talk about. So make sure that you keep all those comments coming in. But appreciate you guys being here.
Throw Joey's
Mr. Gary.
Hey, Gary, good to see you. Throw Joey's last comment on here because I'm sorry.
This
is where you lose me. I get it with the Herbert Mahomes argument, last minute drives. They could be some heartbreakers this season. You may have a point there, Joey, but when you lose me at Jimmy Garoppolo. The idea that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to break Vance Joseph.
Well, that's Garoppolo. That's his brother.
You're right. No,
right.
It's different last name, but still Jimmy.
Much more talented. Nah.
Yeah.
That's
the
all.
Raiders are a bit of a mess right now. It seems like they're going through the.
I'm excited for week 1.
Yeah,
the McDouche experience.
Okay,
the McDouche face experience.
Spotty, go for it.
Listen, okay. There's 2 things that about the Raiders. Their defense actually looks good this year, just from what I've been watching on them. Okay.
Why are you watching the Raiders? Stop.
Okay. I
You're
know
doing too much.
Garoppolo, however you want to pronounce it. Okay. I don't know. Check my Italian on that. All right. But I'm telling you, Devonta Adams eats us alive. Pat Surtain locks up every player.
Who's going to get the ball to him?
Every player but one.
Who's going to get the ball to him?
Derek Carr did it just fine.
They're the same player. Derek Carr, the same guy.
Carr's better. Not by much, but Carr's better.
You could put their stats on the side of my head and say quarterback A, quarterback B, and you're like, it's a trick question, Spotty. It's the same guy.
No, it's a valid point. Devontae, I am curious to see, and we're definitely jumping up ahead a couple of weeks, but Devontae Adams, let's be honest, the only player in the league that has owned Pat Surtain has been Devontae Adams. I'm excited to see it this year, but
he had like 300 yards.
He did.
They had their battles last year. All right, I'll put it. We'll put it that way.
He got owned. He got owned.
Okay, in one game.
The guy,
in the other game, it was a pretty good back and
If
forth.
not the best cornerbacks in the league.
Anyway,
he got owned last year by Devontae.
Stop. We're quick. Okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna read off some numbers. You tell me which quarterback is which. Okay, I'm
We're
gonna
the
read
same
off 5
person.
numbers here.
We already established that. We don't
No,
need to...
they're not. I don't think they are. Okay, percentage 67.2 versus 60.8.
What do you say?
Yards per attempt 7.9 versus 7.0. Who do you think that is?
What?
Well, I think
Who has the higher numbers?
Carr.
They're the same fucking person.
Okay, is it Garoppolo?
Garoppolo
All right, well, great. Playing for Kyle Shanahan will do that to you.
Yeah.
There
was Kevin, but all right.
Josh McDaniels ain't Kyle Shanahan though, and I do not see a Josh McDaniels led team being successful in an
What's
NFL
wrong with Josh
regular
McDaniels?
season.
But don't they come from the same coaching tree, kind of? Like,
I don't think so. I think you're off this, buddy.
Very different offensive philosophies there.
Would you say that what McDaniels has is even a philosophy? I don't even know if you could classify it as that. Like, turn away all of your best players.
When they hired the guy, I was just hoping that the same thing would happen to them that happened to the Broncos. And it is. And it's perfect. Where's Darren Waller? Oh, he's gone.
Alex Leatherwood. All you have to know is the name Alex Leatherwood. Do you know who Alex Leatherwood is?
I remember the draft pick and going, who?
Who isn't even on the team anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, we've spent too much time talking about the Raiders, I think. Let's talk about Jaleel McLaughlin. What do you guys think?
Thank you. I was waiting
No
for
G?
David.
No G? Mr. No G?
No G McLaughlin.
There's no G.
There's still one G.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that G. I'm talking about the other
If
G.
you're a true fan, David, you know what we're talking about.
You know, yeah, he's no G.
I'm not doing it.
Don't say McLaughlin. Say no G.
No, I'm not doing it.
No G.
I don't like it, and I won't do it.
We're gonna make shirts. We're making shirts. Here at Orange Weekly, one of them's gonna say no G, and it's gonna be like a silhouette of him, and it's gonna be awesome.
Okay,
and you're gonna have one.
Let's move on.
Anyway, cut that. We're cutting that. Excellent play by McLaughlin. He has 3 out of the 4 Broncos touchdowns this preseason.
Right.
Incredible kickoff return. Really good, effective in the passing game, effective in the run game. The one thing I haven't seen him do that I would really want him to do, it's not happening, Neil, is pass protect. And
you're gonna be picky with the undrafted.
Listen. I understand where you're coming from.
He's not gonna make the team.
He's gonna be he's making the team. No, he's making the team. He's a third round. He's an undrafted back. But Sean Payton has already compared him to Reggie Bush and Alvin Kamara, so he's making the team. Pass blocking. No, he's making the team. It's a stretch. I think
Reggie Bush Kamara is a stretch.
I think that's a stretch. That's just Sean Payton being Sean Payton. But those are the names that came out of his mouth. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think that's our third down back already, or our third string back already?
Here's what I think. I think he's going to be mostly special teams, but if, God forbid, something happens to one of our other 2 running backs.
You knock on wood, Captain.
Yeah.
If something happens to one of our other 2 running backs, God forbid, I'm going to feel okay. I'm going to feel like, okay, this guy, he's shown flashes. He knows that this is his chance to show what he's got. And I think he's going to run his ass off, and so I'm going to feel okay with it. It'll definitely be a step backwards, but I'm not going to be panicking.
No, he's looked great. For someone we weren't expecting. I didn't know who this guy was going into the preseason. So, for him to make this impact in these games, albeit against, not first string defenses, but he still looks pretty freaking good, and he can return kicks, and he can catch the ball. And he said the only touchdown he's missing is on the special team. So
he was close.
He's kind of the whole package potentially, right? He's still young. He's, again, a rookie. So he just provides that great depth, which is what David was saying. And that's what I'm excited about, because going into the preseason, it was like Javonte Williams and Samaje Perine. And it was like, who do we have behind that? Which was nobody. So, I would slot him in as that number 3 guy. I don't think he's getting into the game regularly as a running back.
Like I said, special teams.
Exactly. Special teams, but not as a running back unless God forbid some injuries But no, he's looked freaking awesome this offseason. He's going to continue that, undrafted rookie tradition that we have for the Broncos.
Yes, as is tradition.
Yes,
as is tradition.
Here's, gentlemen. Here's my thing about it, and yes, I'm very excited to watch him. He's just lightning in a bottle. But Samaje Perine has low-key looked really good.
Yes,
totally agree.
Talked about, like we're talking about the.
That's his career, David. Spotty, that's
you weren't here. Dude. He wasn't here last week. Spotty was like, "I'm too important for you guys. I'm
in Vegas. I got to go hit the crap.
I'm better than you."
Yo,
yeah, exactly.
I left you guys, and my girlfriend won $500 on the slots. So I'm making her treat me to a nice dinner. Okay, before football season starts, and she never sees me.
Now you're talking.
So this I'm gonna say is yes, it's really nice, but no one counts on their third down back. Like unless you're the Browns, who had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and then they had that guy there, Ernesto or Ernesto, whatever, who got me a lot of fantasy points last year. Holla. It just doesn't mean a whole lot.
You started him in the one rant, like, all right, never mind.
Dude,
all right, rabbit hole.
With him there, so don't even start with me, okay? But like, yeah, it's all well and great, but kind of like Kev Dan said, we're looking at him on special teams. So where does he really make the impact? Okay, if he goes down and he's the first guy to make 10 tackles on special teams because we've been scoring that many touchdowns, I'd be really happy about that. Okay, but like honestly, it's nice to see. But how many preseason darlings have we seen just dissipate like that? One of them was last year, Jalen Virgil, who hopefully he gets a little better soon, but he was the preseason darling last year.
Yeah, you're right.
It's true.
And Brandon Johnson fight he had in that play, just really quickly. It's just it was that one play, but the fight he had to and even just after the play to get on the line, like that is the type of player and the type of attitude and mentality we need. Like that needs to be contagious throughout the locker room. Anyway, continue.
I have to disagree with all of you.
Really?
Yeah, I'm disagreeing with all of you. That's right.
Whoa.
I think Jaleel McLaughlin sees the field early this season. So? I think so. I don't think it's going to be like 10 touches a game or anything like that. I think you'll see him for maybe 5 snaps a game. Maybe he'll get a handoff here. Yeah, I think so. Because I don't think
everyone healthy.
Yes.
Everyone's healthy.
Yes, because I think that's the thing. I think they're going to ease Javonte back in workload wise, and I also think this.
Did you watch that last game?
I get it. I get it. But that's why they gave him so much action in that game. Anyway, I think this team's going to run the football a ton. I think all of the running backs are going to see a ton of action, and I think they are going to give Jaleel McLaughlin the ball early. Now, let's talk about Marvin Mims, because Spotty just loved that comment from Neil. And he only had one catch. They tried to work him in. They really wanted Mims to get more action, and they got they had one pass that was clearly designed for him. He bobbled the ball but caught it. He also sat down in zone coverage really well, which is kind of a savvy vet move that you like to see from a young receiver. What do you guys think about his potential in this offense?
Yeah, I'm jumping in right now.
Go.
Okay.
Don't you dare.
Because we rewind all of the tape. Spotty's like, hey, this is the guy who's going to be the offensive MVP, right? It's hard because the start of this preseason, he's been injured a little bit. And he's working his way back. And so to see him get on the field now, granted, it was due to injury to Johnson. There's a reason why he got a little earlier. I think we're going to see a lot more of this guy. I mean, you talk about Jerry Jeudy, who's a fantastic route runner. Well, Mims is also a fantastic route runner. He's not going to blow you away, but all of a sudden, this man is 15, 16 yards downfield with 2-3 yards of separation, which is all you need in this league. And he's a slot guy. You know what? He's done it. He did it at Oklahoma. He's going to continue to do it here. I mean, if you look up his yak from Oklahoma, it's going to blow your mind. You're like, why does this guy make sense? I think when it came to route running and efficiency, he was the number 2 guy in all of college football last year. And I know that doesn't mean a whole lot, but I'm talking about like out of the Power 5 teams, not like Colorado State Ram or anything like that.
Hey, don't you dare, Spotty! Don't you dare!
Shots fired at the Aggies.
I'm a Ram too.
You are a Ram. That's why I'm a little offended. I'm more offended, actually.
I'm more affected.
For anyone who doesn't know, David or Spotty and I did spend 4 beautiful years in the wonderful city of Fort Collins, Colorado. You should all go and visit.
In the same house.
In the same house.
Yeah. They were roommates.
Somehow it's still
we
there.
did live together.
Yeah.
As
somehow that house is still
in
there.
Fort Collins.
It is still there. And I don't know how. I don't know why. It should be burned down. It should be replaced. But
condemned is the word you're looking for.
Condemned is the word I am looking for.
Yes. Now.
Yes. No, but they trade up back to Mims. We'll, I guess, not talk about CSU this whole episode. They traded up for this dude. Like when we were lacking in draft picks as it was, they traded up to get that guy. So, yeah, I think he's going to be involved. I think he's going to get on the field. He's going to be that, unfortunately, now that Patrick is gone, he's definitely that clear-cut number 3 guy for us, which is good. They like him a lot. I think we're going to see some big plays out of him. I hope so anyways, because it kind of feels like the same hype we had with KJ Hamler when we drafted him. He came out. He had the speed. He's going to be that downfield guy.
Deshaun Hamilton?
No, not Deshaun.
That guy, right?
Oof. See, the problem with Hamler is he looked like he was going to live up to the hype until he kept just getting hurt. The problem with Hamler was never the fact that he couldn't do it. It was
all injury related.
Yeah.
But we never saw it. The thing is,
you're right. Because you're right. The hype, it does feel the same, but I think at least the players are different enough injury history wise that maybe we can hope again. We can
hope again.
We can hope again. Also coming
really
back.
Quickly,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joey, I have seen your comments. There is no doubt you were a Broncos fan and you were just busting chops. I was going to wait till the end of the show to say something, but I do appreciate.
We love it when Joey comes out.
The humor.
Every once a show, it gives us all a comment to unite behind and say, no, Joey.
No, Joey.
You're a crucial part of our audience, Joey. Never change.
You are. This is true.
Anyway, now speaking of our receiving core, we did talk about Jalen Virgil a little bit. He did go on the IR today. Brandon Johnson, however, came back to practice. And he has been a guy in practices, at least, who has really been a candidate to replace Tim Patrick as far as a similar body type and similar skills as just a big body, tall receiver, that kind of guy. So what do you guys think? Do you think Brandon Johnson is going to make that big of an impact on this team going forward? I think there's a spot open for him if he can keep showing in practice like he has been before he got hurt.
Look, for me, we need that. We need him, in all seriousness. I'll even take my funny hat off. We need him to step up and become more of that role that Timmy P was going to have, right? We can't replace Timmy P, but we need that guy that's going to be able to be that, box out and be that physical wide receiver, right? That I think is a huge part of this offense, and somebody to be able to get scrappy and stuff. So I need him to be able to step up and become more of that person and maybe more of an aggressive playing style than what he normally is. But, I think we need to go back and rewatch what Tim Patrick, and his playing style is, and how scrappy he can get. Just,
a physical tone setter for sure.
Exactly. Right. So that's what this offense needs. And so Brandon Marshall, he's got to do it. And if not him, then Deshaun Hamilton.
Brandon Johnson.
Thank you, Spotty.
I was gonna say,
have a Brandon Marshall type guy.
Right. I get it because we have had 2 Brandon Marshalls on the Broncos.
Yeah.
It's true. That is true. That is.
Is it like Attorneys General now? Is it Brandon's Marshall?
It is.
Okay.
It's Brandon's Marshall.
It's like Court Marshall. It's Brandon's Marshall. All right, fellas. We've got joint practices with the Rams coming this week. We've got ahead of I know, but ahead of a preseason game with them, the only preseason game at Empower Field this season. What are you guys really hoping to hear, especially as the Rams are not supposed to be, and on paper before the season starts, but the Rams are not supposed to be one of the more formidable teams in the NFL this year?
I mean, were they last year? And look what they did to us on Christmas. I
Yeah.
mean,
Reasonable. We
Oh,
got
forget
Bakered.
that.
We got Bakered. Yeah, we got
That was-
50 burger Baker Mayfield.
Says
Yeah.
no one ever. Oh my god.
Oof. Oh, boy.
By the way, John, you are uber frozen.
yeah, I
so-
was hoping that wasn't just me. That's
No, that's-
you're,
You are
You are.
uber frozen.
Yeah,
We can hear you.
Yeah,
but
such
anyway.
an ugly pose he is in, too.
I don't know.
true.
I kind of think it's an improvement.
I'll be back.
Anyway.
I'll be back. But yeah, no, I think. What was the question?
What are you guys looking for to see in these joint practices against the Rams, or
Yes.
I guess to hear
Look.
as far as they go?
Consistency. Okay. I saw a post right before the show. I didn't see the validity of it. I don't know. It was saying that Sean Payton was going to say that this, if any of the starters play, it's going to be for one series at most. Okay. If that is factually true, okay, we're really looking for those second, third stringers to probably get the vast majority of the playing time with, you're only looking at, well, who else is maybe on the roster bubble, right? So you're really looking for consistency from the depth, discipline. Okay. I don't expect them to go out there and play perfectly like starters, but are they disciplined? So those are two things for me that I really need to see is consistency and discipline.
Fair.
I'm kind of wanting to see a couple of things, right? So we're not going to get the starters, right? I want to see something about Greg Dulcich. Okay. I know I was a fan that was hyped up about him, and apparently whatever he was or whatever he is not a part of our offense. I get it because he doesn't block or anything like that. So I kind of want to see him hit somebody in the mouth to show that he can block at least a little bit, because I have pictures of him running, streams down the field against the Seahawks, and that was the only reason that we were even in that game. All right, so that's one thing that I want to see. The other thing that I want to see is more of something I don't want to see, is that's any more injuries. Okay, because for whatever reason, for the last couple of years, the Broncos just cannot stay healthy. And I don't even know what to say about that. It doesn't matter what trainer you have. Maybe it's the Colorado air or something like that. So I want to see that. And then if the starters are going to play, I would love to see a score.
Yeah.
Just a touchdown, Jack.
Outside of that, Jerry Jeudy, 4th and 12?
No, it wasn't that. It was like
4th and 5. Yeah.
Whatever.
Wait. On that point, Spotty, because I wanted to bring up earlier, that's one thing I've loved about this preseason. Also, am I glitching right now?
No, you're fine.
No, you're good. You're back again.
All right, perfect. Is last week we saw with Jerry Jeudy, he drops a pass on 3rd down, 3rd and 5. We go back to him right next play, goes down and scores 4th and I think it was 4th and 5, not 12. But and then this week, first play of the game, Javonte Williams keeping the streak alive of a drop pass on the first play of every game. And they go right back to him. They put him out at wide receiver, and he does like a 10 or 15-yard up and back, and
with a much harder catch. Yeah, it was a much harder catch.
So I love going right back to the guys that we're going to boost that confidence after a bad play.
That's leadership. That's confidence.
It goes back to the whole Sean Payton thing we were talking about.
Yeah, and you look at the catches that they're dropping. It seems like pretty much every big catch it's the same thing. They're looking upfield before they have the ball. Right. They just got to slow down a little bit.
There was a screen pass to Javonte. Like he knew that was the play.
Like, it was so well blocked. It was so well blocked too.
That was his very first play too. Like, you know what, dude? After everything, and the fact that you're even back now, like after the double whatever tear, I'm going to give you that one. Yeah. Okay, you know what? That one's free on the house.
That's what preseason is for. That's why That's why you play in preseason, Kevin.
That's right.
Somebody else was like, that was terrible. And I was like, will you give the guy a goddamn break?
Quick aside, I keep seeing glimpses of an effective screen game this preseason so far, and it's really promising. It's really promising. I don't want to get it too far ahead of myself, but it's like, man, they haven't done it feels like they haven't executed a screen since Peyton Manning and DT were playing here. And it looks
prediction. I first offensive play of the game. Against the Raiders, jet sweep. Never see it coming.
Who's it going to? Who's getting it, Mims?
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah. Judy.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to him this time. They're actually gonna hand him the ball.
I'm just saying, Sean Payton in New Orleans, the running backs weren't too bad. So
no. Generally, they had pretty good players.
They had
doing
one
that.
or two very relevant running backs every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
The run game.
For me, against the Rams, it comes down to I just want because the Rams have like 40 rookies on their roster, and that's not an exaggeration. Like almost 40, between 30 and 40 rookies on their roster. Yeah, they're going to have
rookies, probably. They don't have draft picks.
No, a ton. Right? They effed them picks, but they have I think they're going to have between 5 and 8 rookie starters on defense this year. So I cannot hear that the Broncos offense is struggling daily in practice against these Rams. I can't do it. I don't need to hear that they are lighting them up. I don't need to hear that they're going for touchdowns every single drive. But I can't hear that the Rams are being surprisingly effective against this Bronco offense. It will hurt too much.
Especially with
what's worse?
Yeah, right. With no Aaron Donald, especially. Good point, Spotty.
Never mind. That was a dumb question I was going to ask.
Good.
I'm not going to ask it.
Good censorship.
No dumb questions, Captain. Just dumb.
You know what? If I filter out one out of every 1,000, okay, you should at least be thankful that there's that one less that you have to deal with.
Because Spotty, you're so wrong, and you'll know that about Kevin in time. There are dumb questions. You'll learn that.
Oh yeah. I totally missed that comment because I blacked out for a second. But
I want to say something else real quick, and this is another maybe boldish prediction. I think Russell Wilson's going to run for 400 to 500 yards this year.
Dude,
wow!
I don't think that's crazy.
What's the over? Is there a bet line on that?
There's got to be. And
no, I don't think Vegas does props like that at all, right?
No, of course not. Vegas won't. They're not interested in taking your money.
Putting odds on anything.
I was there, and they took plenty of it.
I'm sure you could bet on if Russell Wilson's baby is going to be a boy or a girl.
You can
bet on
we
that.
already know that.
Actually, you can. And it's weird. The odds are actually higher for it to be a girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You look.
I made that up.
He's not looking.
Come on, guys.
No.
John, I thought you were in the know, man.
I get you guys expected that I knew that odd line, right?
I missed the days when Ray was here. He was a degenerate
right?
like that. He would have known.
That is that. But I don't know. Spotty and I we keep it pretty close to that.
All right. What were we talking about here? Because now I've lost all track of it.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Rushing the ball.
Let me say
running
this,
the ball.
though. Talking about the screen game, because what's funny, before the season started, everybody was like, oh no, Russell Wilson lost the step, all of this, but the guys run for 40 yards, 45 yards that
he
first
ran for
preseason
25
game?
yards this last game on 3 attempts.
He has,
okay.
He
and
has
the reason
more.
the screen game looks good too is because Russell is also a threat to run.
Yeah.
Which Sean Payton has fully just
they gave him an option play. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And and Russell Wilson has more rushing yards than any quarterback in NFL history, not named Michael Vick and Cam Newton. And last year it wasn't great. And I think I really don't want to. I don't like to make that much of a player's weight as far as this, that, and the other thing, just because I think it's a dumb trope that doesn't really have that much of an effect on how they play their game. But with Russ last year, it was really evident that he was a step slower, and the escapability just wasn't there. But you saw it in this preseason game, and we've been hearing about how trim he is all off season, and it's showing up on the field. And I think you're totally right. I think the rushing yards are going to come.
And that's what I've heard this offseason is Sean Payton has given Russell Wilson the go-ahead to be like, hey, if the play isn't there, if it's breaking down, go for it. Do your thing. Make something happen, either run for it or scramble to find the open receiver. And Russell Wilson's full speed ahead on that.
And it's
just
going
to Aaron Rodgers. Get enough. That's all you need.
And it's going to open up so much for this offense too. Because Spotty, I'm going to let you answer this one for yourself in just a second. But we heard so much about
Joey is on today. Joey is back. Joey is in mid-season
Spotty hasn't experienced Joey's magic yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joey,
This is common, and this is great. So anyway, sorry, David.
No, it's all right. It's all good.
You're on a roll there. Go ahead.
No. Now I've lost it.
It's really gone. The Broncos.
Yes, I like the Broncos, and here's why. The orange and blue has always really it's tickled me. What
do you think about the all white, the white helmet with the all white uniform that I've heard potentially happening against the Patriots?
So it's not the all. It's not.
They already launched. Who were we playing those teams?
Right. Well, just tell me. I heard this second. Just fucking tell me I'm wrong and tell me what it is.
Well, so it's Jets and Patriots. It's not all white. They're doing the white helmet, but with the color rush uniforms.
But I thought against the Patriots they were doing all white.
I don't believe that's the case.
They're the home team. They're not going to do that.
I had poor information. I am sorry. Disregard everything I just said.
They are playing at home in white against the Chargers this season. This is
the white helmets, though?
No, with the blue helmets. The white helmets are only going with the color rush orange jerseys and pants.
Then fuck.
Yeah, you've ruined this.
Yeah, honestly, John.
Hey guys,
but not a bad idea.
It is unfortunately time to start wrapping up. I think. Justin, you probably logged off. It says, it says that you left a few minutes ago, but I might add this to our end there. Instead of just saying, we have one thing left to say, go Broncos. I like the stay sipping thing. Stay sipping, go Broncos. Oh. So get prepared for that when we get to the end of the show today. We might play with it. It's preseason. We're going to try something new. Stand by, everyone. I did announce at the beginning of the show, John has a major announcement tonight. I think all of you are waiting to see what that is. John, it's coming up. But really quickly,
John, not least.
Spotty, I'll hand it over to you for about 30 seconds of a final thoughts, man. What you got, dude?
Oh my goodness. What I can say is, right, one thing we didn't talk about against that last preseason game was against the 49ers, we did see a first team defense that's probably going to be ranked in the top 5 of the season. So yes, we ended up with a field goal, but I don't believe that we were actually stopped at any point. So one thing that I'm very much excited about is to see the Broncos against, the Raiders defense, okay, or the first 5 games of the season where we're not really going to truly see any kind of test right off the start. So if we have the kind of consistency that we've seen so far, we can carry that momentum. We're going to score 24 points a game?
I'll take that. I'll take that
all day long.
All day. David, buddy, what you got, man?
I'm circling back to a point I had earlier because I just found a stat that is a little surprising to me every time I read it, but it's true. Do you guys know who the NCAA all-time leading rusher is?
Yes, Jerry. I do know this answer.
Okay. No, Kevin? He plays for the Denver Broncos. His name's Jaleel McLaughlin.
Oh, no, G.
No, that's not his name.
Then who?
It's Jaleel McLaughlin with 1 G.
Who's that? Right. He has 1 G, but
1 G McLaughlin.
1 G McLaughlin. That's his name.
But he doesn't have that. But that other G's not.
I'm compromising on 1 G McLaughlin, and that's as far as I'll go. Anyway,
I like it.
We're talking about
1
single
G.
season?
1 G. Okay.
What's that?
Got it.
What's that, Spotty?
Single season or career?
No, career.
Okay.
All-time leading rusher in college football history.
Yeah.
And I am just not. You guys may be right. He might not see the field early and often, but I get the feeling that it's going to be hard for Sean Payton to keep this guy on the bench early in the season. That's all.
Yep.
With what you just said, David, I have a feeling the guy knows how to play football.
Yeah.
Which makes me think he's going to be on the Denver Broncos with his current situation.
I think your analysis here is spot on, John. Just terrific.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for. Those kind of facts.
Absolutely.
I guess, is it my turn to go, Kevin, or
yes,
do you
sir.
want to?
Yes, sir. It's yours. All you.
So Kevin said I had to announce something important, and
I thought you had to.
Big news that I'm not. Thank you, Joey, but I'm not having twins.
It would be weird if you were pregnant.
Kevin put me on the spot. It would be weird if I was pregnant.
Not in this atmosphere, current world.
Yeah, come on, Kevin. That is very non-PC of you. I think I'm going to toss this back to Kevin and put him on the spot. I think I will announce, because I get to announce something.
I'm the host of the show. You don't get to do this.
Oh, I'm Kevin.
Okay, do it.
Okay. I'm going to announce that tonight is our first official backstage episode following the Bourbon Broncos and No BS show. What do you think about that, Kevin? You were non-committal, and now you have to join because I just announced it, and you said I get to announce something. So everyone, come to our YouTube page and watch the backstage of Bourbon Broncos No BS. I don't know who's going to be there. I'll be there. David said he will be there a little bit.
We'll be about 30 minutes.
We get to hang out, talk about nothing football related if we don't want to, and just bullshit for a while. So everyone come to the backstage and come hang out with us. Is that good, Kevin?
No, that's a great. No, I like it.
A great
I didn't even actually set it up. So yes, for those of you who haven't joined us before, during the regular season, we do this pretty often, almost every week, and we'll start it this week as we do a backstage show. So we'll go to YouTube only. So this is where you got to make sure you're following us on YouTube, which is right below, scrolling across the bottom there. So you know what it is. And then we just hang out. We can talk about the Broncos, but we can also just talk about random whatever. So come on by, YouTube only, and make sure you just hang out. So
agreed.
Yay! We did it.
We did it.
Yay!
Everyone come hang out with us.
John had a whole hour, and that's what he came up with to come up with.
Hey, that was pretty good, David.
That wasn't too bad. No, that wasn't too bad.
What did you think I was going to say?
I really didn't know.
I had no idea what I was going to say until about a minute before that.
Yeah, like maybe they were planning this, and they're very good. And then, like John's like, "Hey, we're having a second kid."
No.
What?
That's not that. No one cares about that except you guys, I guess.
That's a fair. I don't.
I know David doesn't care about that.
The first kid didn't make the radar. Honestly, the second kid, forget about it. Forget about it.
John, listen, you better be taking care of my niece. Okay.
Yeah,
buddy, you're the only one that gives a shit. I get it. I appreciate
that. No promises on the pants for the backstage show, guys. We will see you there. If you are already watching on YouTube, this show will end. A new show will begin. So just look for a new show just called the Orange Weekly or OW Backstage and join us there.
Joey, I will put on CSU Rams pants just for you.
There you go. There you go. I love it.
Look, here's pants you're speaking of.
I don't know. It's
you have to go to the backstage,
don't you? It's optional at best. Hey guys, look, bottom line for me, third preseason game. Let's see some consistency. Let's see some discipline. Let's see just.
Oh, you meant from the Broncos. I thought you meant from us for a second. I was
also from us. I'd like us to be consistent.
We don't like something, but here we are.
Do we need to have a talk, David?
Well, we're going to backstage.
Join us there. Hey guys, look, it's awesome. We're gonna end it here. There's nothing left to say other than two things, which are number one, stay sipping.
Stay sipping.
Go Broncos.
And go
Broncos. I
go Broncos. Mine.
I sipped.
Damn it, David.
I sipped it. I sipped it.
What I like, yeah, I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goes, sip is right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go.